Imagine walking into a room filled with complete strangers. Before you've said your name, before you've smiled, before you've even decided where to sit, every single person has already started forming an opinion about you. Not after a conversation, not after spending hours together, not even after a single minute. Research in psychology suggests that people often begin forming first impressions within seconds of meeting someone. While those impressions can change with time and experience, they can be surprisingly influential. Which raises an unsettling question. What exactly are people seeing in those first 7 seconds? Is it your confidence, your body language, your face, your clothes? Or is your brain quietly sending signals you don't even realize you're broadcasting? The strange part is, most people believe they're judging others logically, but psychology paints a different picture. Our brains are built to make incredibly fast predictions using incomplete information. It's a shortcut that helps us navigate the world, but it also means we can jump to conclusions before we know the facts. Sometimes those snap judgments are fairly accurate. Sometimes they're completely wrong, yet they still shape how we're treated. Whether someone trusts you, respects you, wants to work with you, or decides to keep their distance can begin with just a few silent moments. Today, we're going inside those first 7 seconds. You'll discover the hidden signals people notice without realizing it, the psychological shortcuts your brain uses every day, and why one tiny habit could completely change the way strangers see you. Because once you understand what happens in those first moments, you'll never walk into a room the same way again. Introduction. Think back to the last time you met someone new. Maybe it was a coworker, a neighbor, someone in a coffee shop, or even someone you only saw for a few seconds. Now, ask yourself, how long did it take before you thought something like, "They seem friendly," or "They look intimidating," or "I don't trust this person," or "They seem confident"? Most people assume those thoughts come after observing someone's behavior, but in reality, they often happen first. Then our brains search for evidence to support them. Psychologists sometimes refer to this as thin slicing, our ability to make quick judgments based on limited information. While those judgments aren't always correct, they can influence how we interact with others. This doesn't mean first impressions are destiny. People can absolutely change how others see them over time. But first impressions often become the starting point for every interaction that follows, and understanding them gives you an advantage most people never realize exists. Let's begin with something almost everyone overlooks. 1. Your brain notices confidence before your words. Imagine 2 strangers entering the exact same room. Neither has spoken, neither has introduced themselves. One walks in slowly, shoulders relaxed, looking around comfortably. The other rushes through the doorway, avoids looking at anyone, keeps adjusting their clothes, checks their phone every few seconds. Who seems more confident? Most people answer instantly. But why? Neither person has actually done anything remarkable. That's because your brain is constantly reading nonverbal cues. Long before words arrive, posture, movement, facial expression, and eye contact all contribute to the impression someone makes. A calm posture is often interpreted as comfort or confidence. Fidgeting or hurried movements may simply mean someone is nervous or just having a stressful day, but observers can misinterpret them as signs of uncertainty. This is one reason first impressions can be misleading. Your body language doesn't reveal your entire personality. It simply gives other people's brains something to interpret. And once that interpretation begins, it becomes surprisingly difficult to erase. Think about actors in movies. A powerful character rarely has to announce they're powerful. You recognize it from the way they move, the silence, the posture, the pace. Your brain fills in the rest. Now, here's the fascinating part. Confident people aren't necessarily less afraid. Often, they've simply learned to remain composed while feeling nervous. That difference changes how others perceive them, and perception often shapes opportunity. But confidence isn't the only thing people notice. There's another signal your brain processes even faster, one that almost everyone misunderstands. 2. People decide if you feel safe. This might surprise you. When you meet someone, your brain isn't asking, "Will this person become my friend?" Its first concern is much simpler. Am I safe? For thousands of years, humans survived by quickly assessing potential threats. Although modern life is very different, that rapid evaluation still influences our social interactions. Without realizing it, people notice how tense your face looks, whether your movements appear calm or abrupt, whether your expressions match the situation, whether you seem approachable. Someone with a neutral expression may be perfectly kind, yet others might interpret that expression as anger or disinterest. Psychologists sometimes call this the neutral face effect, where a relaxed expression is misunderstood because observers fill in missing information with their own assumptions. Have you ever met someone who looked intimidating only to discover they were incredibly friendly? Or someone who seemed charming only to later realize they weren't trustworthy? That's because first impressions are hypotheses, not final conclusions. They're mental shortcuts, and shortcuts can be wrong. The real lesson isn't to fake emotions, it's to understand that small, genuine signals, like a genuine smile, relaxed posture, or attentive listening, can help others feel more comfortable. When people feel at ease around you, they're more likely to engage openly. That doesn't guarantee they'll like you, but it creates the conditions for a better conversation. And that brings us to perhaps the most overlooked factor of all. Your appearance tells a story even when you never meant it to. Here's a question. If two people walk into a job interview, one wearing wrinkled clothes, one dressed neatly, would people expect them to perform the same? Ideally, yes. In reality, many people make assumptions before either candidate speaks. This doesn't happen because expensive clothing magically changes intelligence. It happens because the human brain loves patterns. We naturally connect visual cues with expectations, even when those connections aren't reliable. Clothing, grooming, color choices, accessories, even how well something fits, all become pieces of a story that other people's minds begin writing. That story may have nothing to do with who you really are, but it still influences expectations. Marketing experts understand this. Luxury brands invest heavily in presentation because appearance shapes perception. Restaurants pay close attention to atmosphere because people often judge quality before tasting the food. Book publishers spend months designing covers because readers often judge a book before reading a single page. Humans constantly use appearance as a shortcut. The key isn't to chase perfection, it's to recognize that every visible detail sends information, accurate or not, that others may interpret. The good news is, once people get to know you, those initial assumptions can change, sometimes dramatically. In fact, some of the most unforgettable people make ordinary first impressions, then completely surprise everyone. But there's one hidden psychological principle that explains why a single small detail can overshadow everything else you've done. It's called the halo effect, and once you understand it, you'll start seeing it everywhere. 4. The halo effect, how one trait shapes everything else. Imagine you're introduced to two strangers. The first is well-groomed, smiling, and speaks with confidence. The second looks tired, avoids eye contact, and seems distracted. Now imagine you know absolutely nothing else about either person. Who would you assume is more capable, more reliable, more intelligent? Many people instinctively favor the first person, even though they have almost no real evidence. That's the halo effect in action. When one positive quality stands out, our minds often assume other positive qualities are present too. It's a mental shortcut, not a guarantee of truth. The opposite can happen as well. A single negative impression can unfairly color everything that follows. Someone who arrives late to one meeting may be viewed as irresponsible, even if they're usually dependable. Someone with a naturally serious expression may be judged as unfriendly before they say a word. These judgments often happen automatically, and because they're automatic, we rarely notice we're making them. Think about famous celebrities. Sometimes people describe them as brilliant, generous, or trustworthy simply because they're attractive or charismatic. Other times, one embarrassing public mistake overshadows years of positive work. One impression begins influencing many unrelated judgments. The halo effect isn't just about other people. It affects how people see you. One genuine smile, one calm introduction, one thoughtful question can shape the emotional tone of an entire interaction. Not because people are irrational, but because the brain is designed to simplify a complicated world. And there's another signal that quietly reinforces those first impressions, one that many people underestimate: your voice. 5. Before people remember your words, they remember your voice. Close your eyes for a moment. Imagine two people saying the exact same sentence. "I'm really happy to meet you." The first says it with warmth, steady pacing, and enthusiasm. The second mumbles, rushes through it, and sounds distracted. The words are identical, but the experience is completely different. Why? Because communication isn't just about vocabulary, it's also about tone, rhythm, pauses, and emotion. Research consistently suggests that people pay attention to how something is said, not just what is said. A calm, clear voice often communicates confidence. A rushed voice may be interpreted as anxiety. A monotone delivery can be mistaken for boredom, even when someone is genuinely interested. Of course, these interpretations aren't always accurate. Some people naturally speak softly. Others speak quickly because they're excited. The important point is that listeners don't have access to your intentions. They only experience the signals you send. Think about your favorite movie narrator or a podcast host you enjoy listening to. Why do they hold your attention? It's rarely because every sentence is extraordinary. It's because their delivery creates emotion. The same principle applies in everyday life. People often remember how you made them feel long after they've forgotten the exact words you used. That doesn't mean changing your personality. It means slowing down, speaking clearly, allowing moments of silence, giving your words room to breathe. Ironically, silence itself can become one of the strongest signals of confidence, which leads to another fascinating behavior: eye contact. 6. Your eyes reveal more than you think. Have you ever noticed how uncomfortable people become when eye contact feels wrong? Too little, and someone may assume you're hiding something. Too much, and they may feel intimidated. The balance is surprisingly delicate. Eye contact is one of the first nonverbal cues people notice because it helps regulate social interaction. Comfortable eye contact often signals attention and engagement. Looking away constantly can sometimes be interpreted as nervousness or distraction. But here's where many people get it wrong. Avoiding eye contact doesn't automatically mean someone is lying. There are countless reasons a person may look away. They may be shy, deep in thought, anxious, overstimulated, or simply raised in a culture where prolonged eye contact is less common. Likewise, strong eye contact doesn't guarantee honesty. A confident liar can maintain eye contact. An honest person can struggle with it. That's why psychologists caution against relying on a single behavior to judge character. Human behavior is much more complex than that. Still, people continue making these assumptions every single day. Why? Because our brains prefer quick answers over uncertainty. If we don't know someone's intentions, we fill in the blanks. The real lesson isn't to stare at people, it's to show genuine attention. Looking at someone while they're speaking, nodding naturally, reacting authentically. These behaviors help create connection without forcing it. And connection often changes how people remember an interaction. But there's one habit that quietly destroys first impressions, even when everything else seems perfect. 7. The mistake that can undo a great first impression. Picture this. Someone enters a room with confidence. They're dressed neatly. Their posture is relaxed. They greet everyone politely. Everything seems to be going well. Then, within seconds, they interrupt someone, or they constantly check their phone, or they seem more interested in talking than listening. Suddenly, the atmosphere changes. Why? Because first impressions don't end after 7 seconds. Those first moments create an expectation. Your next actions either strengthen that expectation or challenge it. One of the fastest ways to weaken a positive impression is to make someone feel unheard. Humans have a deep desire to feel acknowledged. When people believe you're paying attention, they often respond more positively. Listening isn't passive, it's an active signal that says, "You matter enough for me to focus on you." Ironically, many people spend so much energy trying to appear interesting that they forget the easiest way to become memorable is to be genuinely interested. Ask thoughtful questions. Let people finish speaking. Avoid planning your next sentence while someone else is still talking. These small behaviors often leave a stronger impression than trying to sound impressive, because respect is felt more than it's announced. And that brings us to one final mystery for this part. Have you ever met someone who wasn't especially attractive, wasn't the loudest person in the room, didn't dominate every conversation, yet somehow everyone remembered them? What made them different? The answer has almost nothing to do with appearance and almost everything to do with emotion. Because the people we remember most aren't usually the people who spoke the most. They're the people who made us feel something. 8. People remember feelings more than facts. Imagine attending 2 dinner parties. At the first, everything is technically perfect. The food is good, the conversation is polite, nothing goes wrong. Yet the evening feels ordinary. A month later, you barely remember it. Now imagine another dinner. Someone tells a heartfelt story. Everyone laughs together. A small mistake becomes a funny memory. The room feels warm. Years later, you still remember that night. Why? Because emotion acts like a highlighter for memory. Experiences that trigger curiosity, joy, surprise, empathy, or even discomfort often become easier to recall than emotionally neutral moments. That doesn't mean you need to become the loudest person in every room. Quite the opposite. Sometimes the people who leave the strongest impression are the ones who make others feel seen. Think about the teacher you never forgot. Was it because they knew every answer, or because they believed in you when no one else did? Think about your favorite boss. Was it because they talked the most, or because they listened when it mattered? Think about a close friend. Do you remember every conversation? Probably not. But you remember how safe, understood, or encouraged you felt around them. This is one of the biggest mistakes people make during first impressions. They focus on being impressive instead of being present. And presence is surprisingly memorable.
When someone feels like they have your full attention, that feeling often stays with them long after the conversation ends. But there's another invisible force shaping every interaction, and it spreads faster than most people realize. 9. Emotions are more contagious than you think. Have you ever walked into a room where everyone seemed tense, even before anyone explained why? Or joined a group that was laughing and found yourself smiling before you even knew the joke? That's because emotions can spread through groups in subtle ways. Psychologists often refer to this as emotional contagion. Without realizing it, people naturally respond to facial expressions, tone of voice, posture, and other social cues. Think about customer service. One genuinely positive employee can completely change a customer's experience. Now imagine the opposite. A cashier who looks irritated, answers with one-word responses, avoids eye contact. Even if they're simply tired, customers may leave feeling unwelcome. The interaction becomes emotionally colored. The same thing happens in everyday life. Your emotional state influences the atmosphere around you more than you might realize. This doesn't mean you should fake happiness. People are remarkably good at sensing forced enthusiasm. Authenticity matters. A calm, genuine presence is often more reassuring than exaggerated positivity. People don't expect perfection. They respond to sincerity. And that leads to one of the greatest myths about first impressions. 10.
People trust authenticity more than perfection. Social media has created a strange illusion. Perfect photos, perfect vacations, perfect relationships, perfect lives. But in reality, perfection can sometimes create distance instead of connection. Imagine meeting someone who never admits mistakes, always has the perfect answer, never laughs at themselves, never shows uncertainty. At first, they might seem impressive, but over time, they can begin to feel difficult to relate to. Now imagine someone else. They're competent, confident, but they're also willing to say, "I don't know. I was wrong. I learned something from that." Many people find this second person more trustworthy. Why? Because authenticity reduces uncertainty. It tells people they're interacting with a real human being, not a carefully constructed image. This doesn't mean oversharing or turning every conversation into a personal confession. It means allowing yourself to be genuine. Ironically, trying too hard to appear perfect often creates the opposite effect. People become cautious. They wonder what's being hidden. Meanwhile, someone who is comfortable with small imperfections often appears more confident, because confidence isn't pretending to have no flaws, it's not being controlled by them. But even when you're authentic, there's still one psychological trap that can work against you, a trap hidden inside every human brain. Once people judge you, they start looking for proof. Let's imagine two coworkers start at a company on the same day. One is introduced as, "She's incredibly talented." The other is introduced as, "He's a little difficult." Neither description includes much evidence, yet those labels can shape what people notice next. If the first coworker makes a small mistake, people may dismiss it. Everyone has bad days. If the second coworker makes the exact same mistake, some may think, "See, just like I expected." This tendency is known as confirmation bias. Once we form an initial belief, we often notice information that supports it more easily than information that challenges it. It happens in friendships, at work, online, even in families. It's one reason first impressions can become surprisingly persistent. But here's the encouraging part. Confirmation bias doesn't mean people never change their minds. It simply means changing an impression usually requires consistent evidence over time. One kind action may be overlooked. 10 kind actions become difficult to ignore. One calm response may seem like luck. Repeated calm responses become part of your reputation. Reputation isn't built in a single conversation. It's built across dozens of interactions. Every promise kept, every moment of kindness, every honest response, every action becomes another piece of evidence. Eventually, the first impression becomes less important than the pattern, and patterns are what people remember. And that's where many people finally relax, because they realize something important. Your first 7 seconds matter, but they're the beginning of the story, not the ending. Still, there's one final lesson that ties everything together, a lesson that changes the way you'll walk into every room from this day forward, and it's probably not what you expect. The biggest myth about first impressions. Many people believe first impressions are permanent, that once someone judges you, their opinion is fixed forever. But psychology tells a more hopeful story. First impressions are starting points, not final verdicts. They're mental shortcuts our brains use when information is limited. As people spend more time together, those shortcuts can be confirmed, adjusted, or completely replaced by real experience. Think about someone you misunderstood when you first met them. Maybe they seemed arrogant until you discovered they were simply shy. Maybe they appeared cold until you learned they were dealing with something difficult. Or perhaps someone seemed incredibly charming, only for you to realize over time that their actions didn't match their image. We've all experienced this, because while first impressions are powerful, character reveals itself through consistency. This is why reputation is never built in one conversation. It's built across dozens of interactions. Every promise kept, every moment of kindness, every honest response, every action becomes another piece of evidence. Eventually, the first impression becomes less important than the pattern, and patterns are what people remember. Stop trying to impress everyone. Here's a question. What happens if you spend your entire life trying to make everyone like you? At first, it sounds like a good strategy. Smile more, agree with everyone, never disagree, always be entertaining, always be perfect. But eventually, something strange happens. You stop being yourself. Psychology suggests people generally value authenticity over trying to please everyone. Constantly changing yourself to match every audience can make interactions feel less genuine. Think about the people you admire most. Are they loved by everyone? Probably not. Great leaders have critics. Successful artists have critics. Brilliant thinkers have critics. No matter who you are, someone will misunderstand you. Someone will dislike you. Someone will judge you unfairly. And that's okay, because confidence isn't measured by universal approval. It's measured by remaining grounded in your values while treating others with respect. The goal isn't to control every opinion. The goal is to control the signals you intentionally send: respect, kindness, curiosity, integrity. Everything else belongs to the other person's interpretation, and that's something no one can fully control. What truly makes someone memorable? Let's imagine 2 conversations. In the first, someone spends 10 minutes talking about themselves, their achievements, their vacations, their opinions. When the conversation ends, you know a lot about them, but you don't feel particularly connected. Now imagine the second conversation. This person asks thoughtful questions, listens without interrupting, remembers something you mentioned, makes you feel understood. Days later, who do you remember? Most people remember the second person, not because they were louder, but because they created connection. This is one of the quietest secrets of human psychology. People often remember how they felt around you more than the facts you shared. That doesn't mean your accomplishments don't matter. It means relationships are built on more than information. They're built on attention, empathy, presence, respect. These qualities don't demand attention, they earn it. 5 habits that create better first impressions. By now, you might be wondering, what should I actually do? Not to manipulate people, not to pretend to be someone else, but to communicate your best self more clearly. Here are 5 simple habits. First, slow down. People often mistake rushing for nervousness. Walk naturally. Pause before speaking. Allow yourself to breathe. Calm movements often communicate calm thinking. Second, be fully present. When someone speaks, listen. Don't mentally rehearse your next sentence. Don't check your phone. Give them your attention. Attention is one of the rarest forms of respect. Third, let your face match your intentions. If you're happy to meet someone, show it. A genuine smile can help others feel more comfortable, not because it's a trick, but because warmth is easier to recognize than silence. Fourth, stay curious. Instead of trying to sound impressive, ask meaningful questions. Curiosity creates conversation. Conversation creates connection. Connection creates trust. Finally, be consistent. Anyone can make a great first impression once. Real character appears when your actions match your words again and again. That's what people remember, not perfection, consistency. The final lesson. Let's return to the beginning. Imagine yourself standing outside a room. You're about to meet people you've never seen before. Maybe it's a job interview, a first date, a business meeting, a classroom, or simply a new opportunity. For a moment, your heart beats a little bit faster. You wonder, what will they think of me? But now you understand something most people don't. Yes, they'll begin to form an impression quickly. That's simply how the human brain works. But that first impression isn't your identity. It isn't your future. It isn't your worth. It's only the opening sentence of a much longer story. And every action that follows gives you the chance to write the next chapter. So don't obsess over being perfect. Don't chase universal approval. Don't let one awkward moment convince you that you failed. Instead, walk into the room with calm confidence. Listen more than you speak. Treat people with genuine respect. Be curious. Be authentic. Because the people who leave the strongest impression are rarely those who try the hardest to be noticed. They're the ones who make others feel respected, heard, and comfortable. In the end, that kind of impression lasts far longer than 7 seconds. It can last a lifetime. Now, we'd love to hear from you. Have you ever been completely wrong about someone after your first impression? Or has someone ever judged you before they really knew you? Share your story in the comments. Your experience might help someone else see first impressions in a new way. If you enjoyed this video and want to explore more about human behavior, body language, emotional intelligence, and the hidden psychology behind everyday interactions, make sure to subscribe and turn on notifications. Because every day, we'll uncover another fascinating way the human mind shapes the world around us. Until next time, keep observing, keep learning, and remember, sometimes the most powerful thing you can change isn't how people see you, it's how you understand people.